G'day. Right, so seeing I'm on my way to Onehunga, I've got some time to kill, so I figured why not share this with you. Now, you may see on my videos there's one there of Marius Rickerus, which is the international human rights advocate that me and Steve took around the North Island to give some talks in different locations back in February. Now on the 5th of February, we went up to Waitangi, to the Waitangi Treaty. We went up on the 5th to go in the tent and have our little say about orangutan tamariki and whatnot. And that was all good. Now, Steve bought this van, it's registered under his name, but since December I've been in lawful possession, if you want to put it in legal terms. I've been in lawful possession of this van since December. Now, back in, I believe it was April, Steve got a ticket sent to him for $120. We were clicked by a static camera in Kumeu, apparently. Now, here's the problem. I rang them up in June because we'd heard nothing. There was no notice of offence that had gone through to the court proceedings. Normally 28 days you get the ticket, 28 days you get a reminder, 28 days you get the notice of infringement or the notice of court appearance that you've got to go and, you know, defend your innocence. So what we did is I went around and saw Steve, we rang up the New Zealand Police Insurance Bureau, or NZPIB, and I said to them, you know, look, at the end of the day there were multiple people driving and Steve wasn't even in the vehicle. I was in lawful possession of it, and I would be happy to accept their ticket if they could please identify who was the driver, because there were multiple drivers, and quite frankly it's 7 months ago. We can't fucking remember who was driving where. Now the police looked at the photo apparently, and it's taken from the back. It says, can't see who the driver is. So they're just going to use the presumption under section 133 subsection 1 of the Land Transport Act, which means basically that the registered owner is presumed to be the offender. However, I called them and told them blunt that he isn't. Now they say you've got to fill out a transfer of liability form. Now the word liable only means upon conviction, until such time you're innocent. Now, so no one can assess who's liable for anything other than a court, because a liable comes upon conviction. So they are saying, oh well, we don't care, we don't have to prove anything. I've already checked with Whangarei District Court, it is a criminal proceeding, so therefore the minimum standard of criminal proceedings applies, which means they must prove every element of their allegation beyond a reasonable doubt. Now there's no argument that the van was clicked. The photo shows it stationary in one spot. It doesn't show it speeding, but we won't argue that one. But the point is, I informed them within 6 months they could have bounced it over and put it onto me. They'd still have the same problem of being able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt who did what. So the first call hearing, or you know, the preliminary hearing, which is where you go to enter a plea of guilty, not guilty, or special plea, most people believe the first call hearing you must appear. The word appear legally refers to a notice or a memorandum or an ovation. Okay, so you don't have to physically, as the meat stick for the name, show up in that courtroom for your first call appearance. You simply file a notice of appearance with your plea entered. Okay, so we didn't have to waste hundreds of dollars of petrol driving back and forth to Whangarei just to say not guilty, give us a date for the hearing. Did it all by paper. So a lot of people out there that are showing up for your first call hearings, you don't have to. You simply have to file a notice of appearance. That will save people hundreds of dollars, especially when you're getting a ticket in another jurisdiction like Whangarei, and we're in Auckland, they won't transfer it to Auckland unless you plead guilty. Okay, so if you want to plead not guilty, you've got to go there and battle it, because the district court nearest to the location of the offence is generally where it's heard. Alright, so we filed the notice of appearance. So now on the 26th of November at Whangarei District Court, we're going up for a defendant hearing. Now, people might say, why not just pay the ticket? It's $120, you'd spend that in gas. Well, we're innocent.
In 3 kilometres, use the left 2 lanes to take exit 8A8B toward Point Chevalier, Unitec.
Okay, so we're innocent. We've accepted their claim for value. If they could provide evidence substantiating who was the driver, they're going to get affidavits from multiple witnesses that Steve was not in the vehicle. They're going to get affidavits from multiple people stating that they drove parts of the journey but cannot recall where. And it is for the New Zealand police to prove who was driving, and they can't do it. They don't even have a camera operator sitting in the van to physically, visually identify, because it's a static camera. They do not have enough evidence to satisfy the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Steve was driving. Hell, I could even get an affidavit from Marius, who was with Steve in his Toyota Altezza, driving up to Whangarei, up to Waitangi, because they were up there before we got there. Okay? So, yeah, it's really quite humorous. And it is the absolute pure arrogance of police prosecutions. Looking at the evidence, they should say, nah, we don't have enough to prosecute. But no, they will go ahead and do prosecutorial misconduct and just waste.
In 800 metres, use the left 2 lanes to take exit 8A8B toward Point Chevalier, Unitec.
So the point being is we're going up there. It's a slam dunk as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be dismissed. The New Zealand police cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt who was fucking driving, and it's not our job to bloody help them. Shit, Steve!
Use the left 2 lanes to take exit 8A8B, then keep right to continue on exit 8B.
So the point being is that Steve is innocent.
Keep right to continue on exit 8B.
It may be registered to him, but New Zealand police were informed he's not filling out a declaration or a transfer of liability because he honestly does not know who was driving. He wasn't there. So even if he wanted to transfer liability, he can't. Alright? So that's how that shit works. Now when we go up, seeing New Zealand police are wasting our valuable time to go up there and defend our innocence, well fuck, we might as well have some fun with them while we're at it. So we're going to do a little bit of protesting in Whangarei, perhaps a Rangatamariki, New Zealand Police, District Courthouse. There may be some protesters there that day as well. Otherwise, why waste our time for the trip? The hearing is scheduled for 11:15, which for 2 hours. So they need 2 hours to try and bullshit the court that Steve was driving when he wasn't even there. And the beauty of it is that once we win, we're asking for reasonable disbursements because they have wasted our fucking time. I don't expect to get paid for my time, but they will be paying for our petrol going up there and back, and I will damn well make sure of it. Now I'm assured by the registry in Whangarei that there are 2 very experienced justices of the peace sitting that day. They won't identify who because fuck, you don't want to actually check up, the actual record of who's presiding, do you? No. It's against their policy to tell you. Although, you can do what I do and just walk straight into the courtroom and ask who's presiding, and generally someone will say. Anyway, so 26th of November, after the election, in Whangarei, anyone that wants to come along to the public courthouse and view New Zealand police getting their fucking ass handed to them, come along. We aren't going to waste our time or trip doing any, just going up there for them. We're going to make a day of it and have some fun. So anybody out there that wants to give it a go, do that. I'm interested.
GPS signal lost.
No, it's because we're in a tunnel. We're underground. Yes, this is the Westmere Tunnel I'm floating around in. I might even have the dash cam here up as well. We'll put that up just in case people are saying you shouldn't be making videos when you're driving. We'll go and look at car karaoke and then think about it, you know. So yeah, everybody's invited. Come along. I know me and Steve are going to be having a shitload of fun. The wife's coming too because she also drove, just not too sure when. And it's New Zealand Police's obligation. They need to rely on facts to prove their elements, and they can't. It's a win-win for us. So yeah, little story I thought I'd share with you all. Hope you enjoy it. Catch up with you later. Sorry, I'm ducked.
In 600 meters, keep right to stay on State Highway 20.